What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in for another great basic guitar lesson on how to master the basics. I'm going to go over lots of cool stuff today that is involved with getting familiar with some solid skill building exercises and techniques. So I'll go over a little bit of everything because it's just a general lesson on the basics of playing guitar well. So going to demonstrate a few things today. Maybe I'll touch on something I did earlier in the video, and maybe I won't. We'll just see how it goes because this is like el natural. I'm just winging it. But I got to show you something that's involved with playing something, so let's go over some basic technique today. I'm going to show you a few things about using the box patterns that you're learning, and you're doing all this work to learn them, and I'm going to show you some things you can do to help you work through them and learn to, basically write a decent lick, I guess, something like that. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to, when you're learning to play, reaching the pitches when you bend your notes is very important. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quickly. So if I want to, basically, theory-wise, I'm bending to the root of, I'm going to use this D minor box. And so the root is D, so I'm going to be bending to D or to the fifth of D, which is A. So in pentatonic land, we can, and it's common to bend to the root and to the fifth of the scale. So if you're in D, you just count on your hand D, E, F, G, A. A is the fifth letter. So you can bend up to A or you can bend up to D, either one. So like for example, let's see, this is a C note right here in this pentatonic box, right? Is your what? A, is your C. So we're going to take this C. What we're going to do is we're going to play the D first so we can teach our ear what note we're looking for. And then you're going to learn on your guitar, because every guitar is different. If you play on many guitars and you have multiple guitars, then you'll be doing this on every guitar. It's a little different on every one. And until you master guitar as a whole, every time you jump on a different guitar, you'll have to readjust the feel. But when you get to be like very experienced, you'll be able to adjust the feel instantly from guitar to guitar. So the first thing you got to do is you got to know the pitches you're trying to reach. Right? And that's the first step. And usually when I bend, it's these two fingers. I'm not a three-finger guy. You can be if you want to. To me, it's more. I think it's limiting. But it's a free world, and you can do what you want. All right, but I do it like this. I teach my students that. But I'm not going to force you to do anything. I never do. Whatever feels good to you. So that's one thing we're going to do is we're going to practice reaching the pitches. So at bending to this, if I play this F, I'm going to bend it to the G, right? I can also bend this F to the G because it sounds good. This C to D. This G to A. A general rule of thumb is when you're in this first pentatonic box, that you can take the first note here, second note there, third note there, and those three notes generally can be bent no problem. So the first thing you're going to practice to be a solid player is reaching pitch with your bends. If you can't reach the pitches, your playing generally sounds pretty ugly when you get to the bending part. And if you're avoiding bending because you can't bend properly to pitch, well, that's a darn shame. And that's what you're here to learn how to do so we can end your shame. All right? So that's the first thing we're going to do is learn how to bend up to pitch. Once you get the whole step bends, then you can worry about a step and a half. And then on, so on to it. We can do two. We can do two steps. Yeah. So, let's get this first thing down of reaching the first pitch smoothly so we can continue to work through the rest of our licks. The next thing we're going to address, since we're learning how to use the second and third finger for the bending, it only makes sense that the next thing you do is you follow up with the vibrato with these two fingers. So you're learning to use these two fingers well for bending and vibrato right now. So when you do vibrato, you can go up or down, but you want to start maybe counting in number 4 and get them even. Something like that. The most common way is to bend up and let the string bring you back down. The slower you go, the less you'll get. The more faster you go, the quicker you go, the more bends your vibrato you will get. Now, if you're on a bolt-on neck guitar, you will get less most likely than the guy who's got a glue-on or a set neck or a string through all the way, whatever you want to call it. Unless you're cheating and using a pedal, then it's all the same. Game on. So you generally don't need vibrato too long unless you're doing something dramatic live and you got like a vibrato thing going on in your live and you're working the pedals to keep your sound going. You're like... That's keeping it going. So unless you're not, if you're not doing that, then you only need this, something like that, right? 4 times. 5 is out of here. That's 5. Why would you want to go 5? Go 6 if you're gonna have to go more than 4. Go 6. Right? So that's what vibrato is. Or you can vibrato upwards as well, but you need to be a more experienced vibrato guy to control it because you need more control to push it up. That's pushing up. This is pulling down. So there's the same thing, but 2 different techniques. Either way, you're learning to use these 2 fingers for that. So that's what's going on there with the bending thing, see? Now you got the vibrato thing. So you need them both. All right. Let's move on to another very important way you're going to use these 2 fingers. When you come into a move, right, you're going like a... For you guys that like to use this pinky, at some point you're going to have to switch over because at the end of every lick you're going to need some sort of vibrato. It's just the way it is. On the end of pretty much everything. If you don't put it on the end of everything, it's going to sound dull when you don't. So you're going to get used to doing it on the end of everything. And that means you're going to have to switch over from this to the bending vibrato setup, which would be this. So now you're going to work on getting from this to that quickly. So that little move, I'm going to give you a little exercise you can work on, okay? Because first you got to get them in there. Not like that, but oh my gosh, definitely not like that. And don't drink anything that would give you an altered state of mind before you do this, because you need to be on your toes. So what you're doing is something like this. I'm looking at the camera and watching my fingers in the camera, and that's kind of why I'm goofing it up here. But anyway, that's what you're doing. You're bringing them in there, and then once you get that placement all the time, this needs to be here. Got to get your placement right. So you're like this. You're like this. You don't really even have to have the guitar plugged in. You just need to be able to make this move and go from here. So when you're doing things like this, you're like, just jostle them right in for the ending move. So you have to be able to get from this to that. You can work on so many different things if you work on your bending move, your hammer-ons, then your switch over to this, and then the bend up to pitch. I mean, you can cover 3 or 4 different things just by going. See, you need to be able to reach those pitches every single time, and if not every time, then pretty much almost every time. Like 98 out of 100 times, you know? So you're just playing around with your vibrato moves. Now, the only other thing I'm going to say is when you're doing things like this, if you're down here and you want to get up here, eventually if you're down here and you're using, again, whatever you're doing. If you're down here and you're playing off this pinky, you're going to have to switch to this. Now, you're going to make a slide move with this, so you're going to slide it up into the other area. So if you're coming to this F, and you're down here at this A, and you're like... So now I'm here like this because I know from the C, I'm going to go to this F. Make that move. So when you're down here just doing whatever you're doing, you know. You got to get to that and then over. So what you're going to do is when you're here like this, and you learn that move and you can do it over in a wider area now. Remember, Dime went like this once. On Reinventing the Steel. He was like, so he did a stretch like this. One here, one there, and he went. And then I'll get into that move later on. I use it a lot. So, the bottom line here is, you're going to be going from this to that, to that. When you're over here like this and you make the transition from this to that, as soon as you get those fingers down, folks, listen up. Stop what you're doing and listen for a second. As soon as you get here to this, the second they go down, you got to get ready to you got to look over to where you're going to be going. Your eyes need to be over here. Second your fingers go here, so you can rip to this note and stop on it. Stop on it fast when you get to it quick. And not even there, I was a shake or two off, you know. See that right there? You gotta hit it. You just gotta practice getting to that same note every time. Now, nobody's perfect, and you might miss every now and then, and that's just the way it is. So, like, you know, big deal. If it was supposed to be perfection, it wouldn't be art. It wouldn't be any fun, right? I mean, that's perfect. It's just how you mean to do it. So, not a big deal if you're missing when you're training, and, you know, so to speak. You know, who cares? Just do your best. But that's the idea. If you look over here, the second these go down, your fingers are going to go where you're looking. So you want to be looking right at that 13th fret if that's where you want it to go. If you want to go out here to say 17, then just look at 17. And just look at it, and you'll bring yourself right there. And those are all the ways you're going to use bending and vibrato. The most common ways, I should say. The most popular ways with these two fingers. There's more control with this than there is with one finger when you bend. So if you're bending with one, get in the habit of two. Learn to keep these two glued together. Another way to vibrato is to use one of these, this one, or this, or that one. This one, or that one. By themselves, because you can be like this, you know, like this, like this. Just depends on what you're going to do. Every situation calls for something different, because let's say you're down at the other end of the guitar here, right? You're down at these, down here maybe. Let's see if I can get this here for you. So if you're down here, you may come in, and this one may be vibratoing on C, because you know you're going to drop this one in there. So So anytime you're doing any bluesy thing and you're in the A box down here, well, you're going to need the second finger for vibrato, so you might as well learn how to do it with that finger as well. Thought it sounded out of tune for a second there. Probably just me hitting all the wrong stuff. That's the great thing about being a teacher. I just have to teach you how to do it. I don't have to be perfect myself. I'm just showing you how to do it. When you play live, you got to be perfect, and that's why I'm glad I'm not playing live nowadays, because everything is all about practice, 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 keeping everything sharp and ready to go. It's just how it is. When you're teaching it, heck, you can make all the mistakes you want, because you can just go, nah, that's not how it goes. Here's how it really goes, and just do it again. But all this technique I've been showing you is solid stuff. If you pay attention to what you're doing and you get, build these skills, wow, you'll play dynamite guitar. That's about it. You just practice looking up here. So I would say get to 8 and look at like 17, 19, 20. Now all I'm doing is going from 8 to 19, 8 to 20, 8 to 19, 8 to 20. You can take the second finger, train the eyes by going 8, 12, 8, 13, 8, 14, 8, 15, 8, 16, all the way up the guitar, folks, like this. I'll start slow for you, and then I will show you at lightning speed. I'm going to start like this. Something like that. Now if you want to try it quicker, you get, okay, and you just keep rocking it. It's eye training. It's eyes going back and forth. Your eyes are running from fret to fret to fret to fret, but you got to make your eye land in the fret you want, not around that fret, and then it's got to look exactly back at the other fret. So you're training your eyes to go from 8 to 12, 8 to 13, 8 to 14, and back and forth, and you're going to move your eyes. You will learn to not move your head, or to move it as little as you can, so that you're mostly just moving your eyes. Because the more you move your head, the more confused you're going to get, and you won't be able to do it very well. So you got to learn to do it without moving your head. You're kind of like a ventriloquist for the guitar. You can't move your head, but you got to play. All right? That's what's going on with that. So you're going to practice going, maybe throwing a little tail on the end, I call it, a little vibrato move. So you're practicing now a few different techniques at the same time. All the way up. All the way up. Now you do the same thing with the vibrato on the second finger. You bring it down. Get that third fret. And you start putting moves together that work the second finger. I'm in drop C, so I'm limited. I can't go to the E string and just roll off and be like, can't do that when I'm in drop D. So I can pull off on the A. That would be my drop D version of E. By the way, all the basics, you guys who are still covering your basics, I'm going to throw this in as a bonus. You should all know your pentatonic power chords. And the most common place for the center, the one finger power chords are common in blues rock. When you're in the key of A minor, you're going to get an A, a C, a D, an E, and a G, and back to the A again. So what you're looking at is the A, this G string, the root note is on that string. So here's the A on the G string. Here's the C. Here's your D. Here's your E, your G, back to your A. If you notice, the root note is on the higher string this time. A, C, D, E, G, A. What's up with the E? You guys notice anything special about when you stop on the E? This is a guitar lesson. You're included. What's your input? What, just think to yourself, if I'm on E, what's special about being on the E power chord? I'll tell you what's special about it. If you haven't jumped forward in the video yet, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's the flatted 5, man! Oh my God, yeah! When you're on the E, you get the flatted 5. Now, along with these pentatonic power chords, I mean, you can do them anywhere, really. It'll just be like A, right? C, D, E. We do your whole E thing with the power chords. But the place you want to play them is the center strings, 3 and 4, because they're one-finger chords there, and you can vibrato the living crap out of them. So you'd use this finger for vibrato in both strings. And you grab the second finger. You grab that one also. Second, that's what I'm telling you. Learn that second finger vibrato. If you're really slick, you can add and do it like me, be super badass and do these two. And then when you're done, you do whatever you're gonna do. No thing. Just keep playing around. I'm just dorking off, but you get what I'm saying there, right? I mean, the vibrato thing, there's a lot to the adding the vibrato. So all of a sudden, what happens is you're applying everything a little at a time, and then all of a sudden, you can apply everything all the time. That's what you're working towards, applying some of your stuff. Like a little double stop thing, bend, maybe a little double stop bend action. You practice hitting the D here, and you take this C up to the D, but you're going to do both at the same time. You're going to bend one, you're going to strike one. In the beginning, you might get this, and push the first finger too. You got to learn to control the first finger and play it while this one goes, these go up. For some of you, that might feel weird in the beginning, because it might. But that's what you're doing, is a double stop, but you're bending it. And if you're really, really good at the double stop bend, then you can learn the vibrato only this note, and not vibrato that guy. Just keep this regular and vibrato the hell out of that one, like this. And get something crazy up the scale. Let me see, I'm starting from the beginning here. And you just make up whatever you want. These double stop things are wicked. Throw a little wah pedal on them. Or don't throw any on. Either way, it's your choice. But when you start being able to put it all together, oh, and then you start getting what you want. Now you got your bends are going to pitch. Oh, by the way, don't forget to check your tuning once in a while when you're doing a lot of this. You might get a little. See? So you might get a little Action Jackson on the way out. You have to check it once in a while. This generally doesn't go out too much. It's a very expensive guitar. Maybe that's why it stays in tune pretty darn well. All right, guys, there are some basic techniques that you need to learn if you don't already know them. I would not be moving forward on other things if you can't do the basics. Why are you trying to learn long division when you can't even multiply and divide, right? All right, so guys, these are basics. They're in every single song, so the better you do them, all your songs will sound better. These are the things you're going to be doing all the time. Hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, bends, picking. So we got to get really good at applying these things, learning them separately one at a time, gluing them together with other techniques to make your music. I hope this video was very informative for you. Even if you've already been playing guitar, I hope there was something in there that you got, even one little thing that's going to make you play differently and better. Something that will add something to your playing so that you didn't just walk away going, I knew every single thing that guy said. I hope you learned at least a little something. Thanks for subscribing if you have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another video helping you reach your personal best. See you in another video.